And welcome to our regular meeting of council for Monday, July 13th. I could ask everyone to please stand for the national anthem. Okay, thank you, and welcome to all members of council, the public, staff, and people that are watching online. I will call the meeting to order. Are there any declaration of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof? Seeing none, motion to accept the agenda. Deputy Mayor Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Massey, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry accepts the agenda of the regular meeting of Council on Monday, July the 13th, 2026.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments on the agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor of the, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, if I might take the opportunity, I just wanted to briefly address the question period of for this evening. So I just wanted to go over the purpose and the expectations for members of the public. So the question period is intended to provide members of the public an opportunity to seek information or clarification regarding matters that have been presented on tonight's agenda. In accordance with the agenda, questions shall relate to items considered only during this meeting. Each person is limited to one question, which shall be addressed through the chair. Be concise and be framed as a question seeking further information. The portion of the meeting is not intended for presentations, speeches, commentary, debate, or discussion between members of the public and council. Individuals wishing to make a formal presentation should seek to make a delegation. I also would like to remind everyone that all attendees are expected to conduct themselves respectfully, maintain order, and speak respectfully throughout the meeting. So with that, I'll hand it over back to you, Mr. Mayor, but just to be clear, questions from the public are only related to items on the agenda per our procedural bylaw.
Okay, thank you. Call the question. All those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. None opposed. Adoption of the previous minutes. Councillor Massey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Cadell, that the minutes of the following meetings be adopted as circulated. Regular meeting of council minutes, Monday, June 22nd, 2026.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, errors, or omissions on the minutes? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. None opposed. Moving on to delegations, Conservation Authority consolidations. Team lead Lisa Vanderleit from the Raisin Region Conservation Authority. Welcome, Lisa.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My name is Lisa Vanderleit. I'm a team lead with the Raisin Region Conservation Authority. It's nice to see so many familiar faces around the table, including our chair, Councillor Jacques Massey, who's been sitting on our board of directors for a few years now. Councillor Massey asked if we could attend your council meeting to answer any questions you may have about the current Conservation Authority amalgamations. and answer any questions you may have. And I really enjoyed listening to the chatter before the meeting started. It shows they're excited about the topic. Before diving into the upcoming Conservation Authority amalgamations, I wanted to quickly remind you about the key programs of the conservation authorities that we provide to the township and our other member municipalities. First and foremost, our core mandate includes the protection of people and property from natural hazards such as flooding and erosion, and the protection of municipal drinking water sources. So very, very important services for the community. Our conservation areas, such as Grace Creek, Cooper Marsh, and Schlumberg Park, protect ecologically significant land and also provide opportunities for the public and visitors to get outside and step into nature on our trail system. We host important community events like the Raisin River Canoe Race. This event happens every year in the spring and attracts hundreds of paddlers and visitors to the event, and it's been happening for over 50 years. Our forestry programs, including our popular tree giveaways, help residents and municipalities increase forest cover and advance climate change and natural asset goals. And through collaborative funding initiatives, such as our joint application to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Green Municipal Fund, we can support municipalities with your tree planting goals. I hope we can share good news with your municipality soon on our recent application to help offset the cost of tree planting at Island Park this year. All right. So the Raisin Region Conservation Authority is currently one of the 36 conservation authorities in the province that are currently transitioning to 9 regional organizations. And this is following legislative changes by the province. The RRCA will join South Nation Conservation, Rideau Valley Conservation Authority, and the Mississippi Valley Conservation Authority to form the new St. Lawrence River Regional Conservation Authority. We're calling it SLRCA.
Okay.
And this would be as of February 1st or a later date that could be prescribed by regulation. This graphic here on the screen illustrates the scale of the Regional Conservation Authority. The RRCA currently serves approximately 86,500 residents across 1,680 square kilometers, which includes 5 member municipalities. The SLRCA would serve approximately 1.3 million residents across 14,700 square kilometers and 36 municipalities. The province has advised that its approach to consolidating conservation authorities is guided by several key principles which reflect feedback received during the consultation process. And it was a very popular consultation process. There were 14,000 comments submitted on the ERO posting. So these principles include maintaining a watershed-based management approach, ensuring continuity of services so that core programs, including permitting, watershed management, and conservation areas, continue to be delivered without disruption, strengthening organizational capacity, and retaining local influence. Through statutory amalgamation, the new regional conservation authorities will replace the existing conservation authorities as legal entities to avoid disruption to current municipal agreements, partnerships, and operations, and will become the employer of existing conservation authority staff. For example, the lease agreement with your municipality for the management of the Garry River water control structures would legally transfer from the RSA to the Regional Conservation Authority. The operations of the structures, however, should remain unchanged and overseen by local staff who understand the structures and the system. Our board of directors currently includes elected representatives from each of our 5 member municipalities, including 1 representative from your township. On February 1st, 2027, the current board will dissolve and will be replaced by a Regional Conservation Authority board. Regional conservation authorities will continue to be municipally governed organizations with board members appointed by the upper tier and single tier municipalities, and will continue to rely on the deep local expertise, knowledge, and relationships conservation authorities have built through the establishment of what's called watershed councils, and these are new. In terms of how many watershed councils will be throughout our region, that's to be determined. So the province isn't doing this on their own. To support the transition, regional transition committees are being established with one board member and one staff representative from each conservation authority. These committees will be chaired by what's called a project executive and will oversee the planning and implementation of the regional transition. Until the new regional conservation authorities are formally established, the RRCA Board of Directors will continue to fulfill its existing governance, oversight, and decision-making responsibilities. In the meantime, it's business as usual for the RRCA. Staff will continue delivering our programs and services without interruption, and residents, municipalities, and partners should not experience any changes to our service delivery. The province has also confirmed that the 2027 budget process will follow existing Conservation Authority practices. Municipal levy apportionment methodologies will remain unchanged, which will provide you with predictability. The budget process, however, will begin sooner this year, and so you can expect a consultation happening in September. Last year would have happened in October. Thank you for the time. Those are really the highlights. I hope that provided some clarity. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. I have a few questions to start, and just happy to hear that you'll still be doing the management of our water levels within the.
Yes.
That's very important to us. So do we have an idea of, are we maintaining all the offices in each area for the short term, is that what their long-term plan is?
The province has stated that they have no intention on closing any offices or letting go of any staff.
Okay, and the assets such as Charlottenburg Park and what happens to those? Will they continue under the?
Yeah, all existing assets will continue with the regional organization. Yeah.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Williams?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know one of the key concerns to this very significant change was maintaining local influence, which of course, is important to all of us around this table. And is it the watershed committees that are going to ensure that function?
There'll be one of the ways that will ensure that function. So one way will be that there will be municipal representatives from the upper tier and single tier municipalities that will be appointed to a regional board of directors. And then the watershed councils, there has to be at least one per region, but there may be more. And they're the ones that would obtain that local knowledge and input from the community and relay that up to the region. Yeah.
Go ahead, Councilor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Lisa. Just to follow on that, you just said upper tier and single tiers. So lower tiers are not going to have necessarily representative. It's going to be like somebody at SDNG that'll be on this council.
Exactly. It could be someone from North Glengarry who
yep.
sits on the county.
But it's not each municipality that's going to have somebody. Okay.
Exactly.
Is that going to look like a board of directors? Like, is that essentially what the idea is, that it continues forward as essentially the steering committee for?
Yeah, they will be responsible for all the responsibilities that our current board of directors have.
Okay, interesting. I guess to go back to retention of assets, and it's not necessarily assets, but conservation agreements and easements that have been put in place. Presumably they are to be retained and they are going to stay in place so that anybody who has donated in the past or lands that have been designated, there's no concerns about those being divested or anything of the sort?
Yeah, so because it's a statutory amalgamation, the region will assume all of those responsibilities. There's been no, did you say something of disposing of land? Is that,
Yeah, just-
there's been no conversation about that.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. And I guess just sort of a broad, as sort of a, I'll say at a staff level, but basically at the local level as far as the Conservation Authority, are there any issues or holes in this that have been identified that have not been addressed by what the province has, or I guess the way the province has responded, because they did make a couple of little changes in there, right, in the, sort of on the process.
The consultation approach was very thorough. In addition to public comments and partner comments through the ERO posting, they did host several meetings throughout Ontario with board members, with municipalities, and they did listen to comments. Initially, the first proposal had 7 regions, and one comment that was relayed very strongly to the province was to try to increase that number. So we were initially 5 conservation authorities, and they reduced our region to 4.
Yes, I
Yeah.
recall that. Just, again, maybe some insight that we don't have. It's a curious thing that we're doing this, but we're retaining all the offices, retaining all the employees.
So
They're
it's a
talking about
question, yeah.
not making any changes. So is there any insight as to
What the
what the
point?
long game here is? Because there's presumably a long game.
The main reason for the amalgamations is to streamline certain aspects of the conservation authorities. Operationally, in terms of the delivery of our programs and services, you may not notice a whole lot on the ground. It's more administratively, they're looking at finances, legalities, HR, stuff like that at a high level. Behind the scenes stuff should be more efficient and streamlined, consistent. And then, yeah, in terms of the people and the offices and the local work that we do, that should all remain the same.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, appreciate it.
Seemed like a big ruse just to get rid of Jacques Massey. I mean, it's, Councillor Massey, you had a comment?
Also, to that point, I think the province wants to standardize the whole process, and then because there's some conservation authorities has different regulations, different timeline to accept the proposal and stuff. So everything would be standardized as province guidelines, I think. And also to the point of the Charlottenburg Park, I think this is the last year to raise and have it.
Oh, okay.
Parks,
Parks of the St.
yeah,
Lawrence, they're taking it
they
over.
want it back since we cleaned it up and
Yeah,
put it.
of course.
So, yeah, apart of that, everything remains the same. It's just basically everybody in the province will have the same rules, regulation, timelines, and, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions from members of council? Thank you, Lisa, and
Thank
we
you.
look forward to hearing more from you guys in the near future. So
Yes.
thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, moving on to staff reports, Administration Department, appointments to the SDG Joint Compliance Audit Committee. Councillor Cadell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Manley that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry receive staff report AD 2026-08, appointments to the SDG Joint Compliance Audit Committee. And that council appoints the following members to the Compliance Audit Committee for the term of November 15th, 2026 to November 14th, 2030. Joanna Barkley from Stormont, Marianne Campouris from Glengarry, Julie DeBoer Dundas, Denise LaBelle Jelena, alternate from Stormont. And that council adopt the terms of reference attached as Schedule A and adopt bylaw 34-2026, being a bylaw to establish the Stormont, Dundas, and Glengarry Joint Compliance Audit Committee for the 2026-2030 municipal elections term. And that bylaw 35-2026 be read a first, second, and third time and enacted in open council this 13th day of July, 2026.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Mr. CEO.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So this report addresses the requirement under the Elections Act to establish a compliance audit committee for the upcoming 2026-2030 election term. The committee serves an oversight role by reviewing campaign finance compliance matters, including applications from eligible electors and reports from the clerk regarding potential campaign finance contraventions. The SDG municipalities have continued the collaborative approach by establishing a joint compliance audit committee, a model that has been successfully implemented in past election cycles. This shared approach promotes consistency and decision-making across all municipalities and makes efficient use of municipal resources. The committee's responsibility would include reviewing compliance audit requests, appointing auditors when required, reviewing audit findings, determining whether legal proceedings are warranted, and considering the recovery of audit costs where appropriate. A recruitment process was conducted across the 6 municipalities, and the recommended appointees were read off earlier. Council is being asked to adopt the terms of reference, establish the Joint Compliance Audit Committee through Bylaw 34, 2026, and enact Bylaw 35, 2026 to implement these arrangements for the entirety of the election term.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments, members of council? Standard every year or every 4 years? Okay, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried, none opposed. Thank you. Amendment to Bylaw 21, 2018, regulation of municipal elections. Councillor Manley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Madden, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry receive staff report AD 2026-09, amendment to the bylaw 21-2018, regulation of municipal and election signs, and that Council acknowledge that the subsequent comprehensive update to the election sign bylaw will be brought forward at a future meeting to address additional provisions and expand the application of bylaw to all election signs, and that Council deem it necessary to expedite to proceed with the current amendment at this time to establish timing restrictions for the placement of election signs in advance of the 2026 municipal election.
Okay, thank you.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So the municipality established a bylaw regulating election signs in 2018. Just through the election process, we've received a number of questions. I think in practice, the municipality has always implemented a September 1st or there around timeline for when election signs could be established. And just reviewing our bylaw, it doesn't specifically note the timing. So what's proposed as part of this report is to establish 45 days prior to voting day as being the standard timeline for when signs can be erected across the municipality. I would say that is pretty much the standard timeline across the municipality. As we noted in the report, we wanted to get this proposed change before council ASAP so we could communicate that to prospective candidates as well as residents who have been asking. We have a one-page primer that we've attached to the report that would be posted on social media as well as circulated to any candidate or to all candidates. We've also noted in the report that we would like to bring back a more comprehensive update to the bylaw at the next meeting, which looks at a few different areas, but the most important, most critical item was the timeline that we needed to bring to council this evening, just due to the implications to the campaign period. So with that, if council has any questions, be happy to answer them.
Okay, questions or comments this time? Go ahead, Councillor Manley. Oh, sorry, Councillor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one point I'll make that's in the report that essentially the visual pollution aspect of this is favorable to limit this and not just let it go for months. I mean, whether it's provincial, federal, municipal, any of them are just eyesores no matter what. So something that I think is needed.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, and just to add to that, so one of the changes that we would be looking to make as part of a new bylaw is just not regulate municipal elections, but regulate all elections. And then in terms of the bylaw itself, I would say the majority of it is there. I think it just needs to be expanded upon and some areas clarified, which I think is meant through the intent of the bylaw, but not specifically called out and identified. So I don't think there'd be major substantive changes other than obviously the 45 days, but it is really getting it to a little bit more of a detailed point so that there's no misinterpretations.
Okay, thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this, in effect, then would mean sort of signs could go up middle of September, then, I take it?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, that's correct. For this election cycle, it would be September 11th, I believe.
September 11th. So that's, you know, a little bit of a delay. I mean, I agree with Councillor Madden. You know, better to keep the visual pollution down to a minimum if we can, but is this like a standard template across all municipalities? Like, we're not venturing into new territory here, are we?
No, through you, Mr. Mayor. So I would say the standard is either 30 or 45 days. We've provided for 45. That's kind of what I've noticed as the typical standard across municipalities. Additionally, they also provide timeline requirements for taking them down, which usually range from 5 to 7 to 14 days. So that will be included as part of an updated bylaw as well.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried, none opposed. Okay, moving on to 80-2026-10, temporary road closure, show and shine fundraiser for Glengarry Memorial Hospital. Councillor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Martin. Will the Council of the Township of North Glengarry receive staff report AD 2026-10, temporary road closure, show and shine fundraiser for the Glengarry Memorial Hospital. Being a report regarding the temporary road closure required to facilitate the Show and Shine 2026 summer fundraiser for the Glengarry Memorial Hospital, and the Council adopt bylaw number 39-2026 authorizing the temporary closure of McDougald Street east of Main Street and west of the Via Rail Station, and Dominion Street north of Elm Street on July 18th, 2026, for the purpose of hosting the Show and Shine event organized at the Atlantic Pub and Eatery. And that bylaw 39-2026 be read a first, second, and third time and enacted in open council this 13th day of July 2026.
Okay, thank you.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So, as noted, this report is seeking approval for a temporary road closure to facilitate the Show and Shine event, which is a fundraiser for the Glengarry Memorial Hospital, which will be held at the Atlantic Pub. So this event is expected to attract up to 500 motorcycles, along with a significant number of visitors from across the region, making it a pretty substantial event. So administration met with the organizer to review the logistics, including the parking requirements, traffic management, safety, and emergency access provisions. So based on those discussions, we're satisfied that temporary road closures are necessary to safely accommodate the anticipated attendance and provide sufficient motorcycle parking in close proximity to the event. So as noted, the closures include portions of McDougald Street and Dominion Street, basically east of Main Street, west of the Via Rail Station, and then north of Elm Street. The township-owned lands located immediately north of the event would also be used as supplementary parking. If you look at the sketch on the TV above, subject to the organizer providing insurance coverage and indemnification to the township. A key consideration throughout the planning process has been ensuring that, you know, local residents and property owners who have driveways can safely and exit and access their properties, which is going to be managed. The organizer and owner has been in communication with these property owners, and they seem supportive. The township will be dropping off notices to each one of the property owners to communicate the closure and also provide contact information should they have any concerns. The last item, or last couple items I would bring up is, so public safety will continue to be addressed. We'll ensure emergency response vehicles have a clear pathway to travel down the street in case of any emergency. We'll ensure motorcycles are parked far enough aside that a fire truck can travel down the road. Like I said, notice has been sent out, or will be sent out. Our staff will install the traffic signage in the morning, and then we'll take it down the following day. And like I said, I think this is a community benefit, and we recommend supporting it.
Okay, thank you. I don't see any within the report. Oh, no, sorry, it does say 2 to 9 p.m., so it'll be,
Correct.
after that, it will be open.
Correct. So we'll establish through you, Mr. Mayor, we'll likely implement the closure sometime in the morning prior to the event, and then take it down later that evening. So I would say for residents, the next morning when you wake up, it'll be fully opened.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
It sounds like a terrific event, and I certainly support the closure. Just wondering, though, about access to the Via Rail station.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, so signage detouring traffic around will be in place to get access to Via Rail, and the barricades will be set up just west of Via Rail so that you'll have full access to Via Rail. There won't be an impact.
Excellent.
It'll be able to access from Bishop Street.
Oh, from Bishop.
Okay, any further? Go ahead, Councillor Madden.
Just a note, I mean, as Deputy Mayor said, it is a very good event. They've done several bike nights that have been quite successful, and they've gathered quite a bit of money for the hospital foundation. So definitely a good use of, I'll say, municipal powers to assist them in being able to park that many bikes, and it should really be quite something to see.
Okay, great. Further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried, none opposed. Okay, moving on to Building, Planning and Bylaw Department, zoning bylaw number Z06, 2026, Camille Campo and Carl Campbell. Councillor Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Williams. Council of the Township of North Glengarry adopt zoning bylaw number Z08, 2026, and that the bylaw number Z08, 2026 be read a first, second, and third time and enacted in open council this 13th day of July, 2026.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, Jacob.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the owner for this file, Madame Camille Campo and Mr. Carl Campbell, the address 2430 Lagan Glenelg Road, which is also County Road 24 in Dalkeith. So as you can see on the TV there, so the purpose of this zoning bylaw was to rezone the entire property, basically to be allowed to have a secondary home. So it was zone AG 180 due to the severance for the surplus dwelling to prohibit any agricultural activity. So now what we're adding, this will still stand. We're just adding the permission or the special exception for a secondary dwelling on the proposed property. The application was circulated as per Planning Act, and we have received no additional comments from any members of the public or any other agencies. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. So this was presented to us at the public meeting 2 weeks ago. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. There are none opposed. Moving on to zoning bylaw amendment Z09, 2026. Mark and Natasha Rickard, Wood Brothers Brewery. Deputy Mayor Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Massey, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry adopt zoning bylaw number Z09, 2026, and that bylaw number Z09, 2026 be read first, second, and third time and enacted in open council this 13th day of July, 2026.
Thank you. Jacob.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the owners for this file, Mark and Natasha Rickard, also known Wood Brothers Brewery. So it's located at 2180 Wiley Road in Glen Robertson. And yeah, again, same thing for this one here. This file was presented during a public meeting of planning on June 22nd. The purpose for this zoning bylaw amendment, so as you can see there, this is 2 conditions on a severance application. So the key for this severance, so this is at the end of the day almost like a surplus dwelling, but the key difference here is that we added, so we're rezoning the blue portion to add the term, the actual wording of small-scale home-based business brewery. So that's the key for this severance to be granted by SDG, because we're considering the woods now part of the home-based business. So this is why this is permitted here. So we're rezoning the blue portion to add that wording, and we're rezoning the pink portion simply to prohibit any residential dwelling on the property. And to acknowledging the 57 acre, which is less than the required 74 for an ag property. So this file was also circulated as per Planning Act, and we have received no additional comments from any members of the public or any other agencies. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. There are none opposed. There is no unfinished business. Items under the consent agenda. Councillor Massey.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Cadell, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry receives the item from the consent agenda for information purposes only.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions on the consent agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. There are none opposed. Moving on to new business, proclamation request, pregnancy and infant loss awareness day and month 2026. I have a motion moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Williams, that council will receive the correspondence from Kristen Pachowski, founder of Oaks Tree of Love, and that council proclaim October 15th, 2026 as Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Day in the Township of North Glengarry, and that council proclaim October 26th as Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month in the Township of North Glengarry, and that council directs staff to review the feasibility of a flag raising and/or the illumination of the municipal office or another appropriate municipal facility in pink, blue, and white in recognition of Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Day and month, and report back to council if required. Are there any questions on this? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion is carried. There are none opposed. Okay, notice of motion. We had a quick meeting tonight. Next regular meeting of council is Monday, August 10th, 2026 at 6 p.m. We do have a closed session, which is about acquisition or disposition of land, negotiations update, property negotiations, property acquisition, lease agreement negotiation, and a drainage agreement negotiation that, if passed, we will have a bylaw that will, when we come out of camera, and we will be live when we do that again. So at this point, I'll move to question period. Are there any questions from the audience? Okay, go ahead.
Hi. So, technically it was a part of the agenda tonight, Mr. Fothrop's comments on the question period. I just have one question for all of you. You don't have to answer publicly. It's not an attack. I come respectfully. Why would you not want to encourage community participation in an orderly and respectful fashion in the council meetings?
Because that's not how council meetings are run. We have all members of council are available prior to any meeting. We are at public events throughout the municipality where we get comments and questions from people. We receive, I know I do, and I'm sure most of council does, many questions through social media, through Messenger, texts, emails, asking us questions prior to any decisions. So most people are aware of what's happening and provide questions to us. Question period is about asking any questions in regards to anything on the agenda, which of course your question is, and that's typically how meetings are run throughout the province of Ontario.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, and if I could just add as well, so for each report that's on the agenda, if there's a report that warrants public feedback, input, or consideration, instead of, as Mr. Mayor has noted, it can't all be heard at this council meeting. What is done is that there's separate public surveys, public engagement sessions where feedback is sought, and it's administration's responsibility to compile that feedback and include it in reports. And obviously, as Mr. Mayor said, the members of the public are welcome to give feedback on any of these items before they go to council, directly to council themselves outside of the meeting. So I would say planning reports are a great example. Notice is sent. Public is welcome to make comments. Those comments get compiled and brought to council in the report for their consideration. So that's how public commentary is really sought and included in the agenda. So I just wanted to add that as well.
Okay, thank you. Further questions?
I guess I could say one last thing in regards to that. I'm not trying to put any of you on the spot here, but
I'm just going to caution you that this is not a campaign event, and that if you're going to ask a question, it needs to be direct and about what has been discussed.
okay. Would any of you consider, if given the opportunity, allowing more respectful, open public participation in the future?
Anybody?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, just my recommendation is that question would be out of order. I think it relates to, a question of whether or not council will, individual council members will support something going forward. The Elections Act is very specific as to what can happen in council chambers, and campaign positioning is not acceptable. So I take your comment, we'll record your question, but it's not appropriate for each council member to identify what their position would necessarily be on that.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions or comments from the audience? Okay, seeing none, thank you for joining us this evening. We have a motion to move in camera. I would call Councillor Manley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Move on myself, seconded by Councillor Madden. Proceed in closed session, whereas Section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001 permits council to proceed into closed session for certain matters. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry move into closed session to discuss the following. 1, acquisition or disposition of land, as these matters deal with the proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local boards, and positions, plans, procedures, criteria, or instructions to be applied to negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality of a local board. They may be discussed in closed session under sections 239(2)(c) and 239(2)(k) of the Municipal Act 2001. Be it further resolved that council proceed into closed session at this time.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Motion is carried. We will take a 2-minute break and then proceed in camera. Thank you, everyone. Okay, welcome back, everyone, and we are returning from our in-camera meeting, and we have some bylaws to pass. So, yes?
I would like to declare a conflict of interest on the Encore Education bylaw
Okay.
for the lease agreement.
You sit on the committee
I'm
and not
on
part
the
as
board.
part of council.
I'm on the board. Yeah.
On the board. Okay, thank you. Okay, Councilor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Martin, that council now rise and report from the closed session held on July 13th, 2026, and that the regular council meeting now resumes at 7:39 p.m. That the following motion be adopted, that bylaw 37-2026, bylaw 38-2026, and 40-2026 be read a first, second, and third time and enacted in open council this 13th day of July, 2026. The council directs staff to proceed as discussed in closed session, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute any necessary documents.
Okay, thank you, and I will just tell you what those are. The first one, the first one is a bylaw to authorize the acquisition of the property municipally known as 9 Main Street South, Alexandria. For anybody that's lived in Alexandria for a while, that is the former Patty's Barber Shop, that we will be taking ownership of that.
Make note that's number 40.
Yeah, I'm just reading what the other one is a bylaw to authorize the execution of a mutual drain agreement containing land on the 17th Road and the east part of Lot 27, Concession 8, former Township of Law Heel in the Township of North Glengarry. And the final bylaw is being a bylaw to enter into a lease agreement with the Glengarry Encore Education Center at the municipally owned property at 102 Derby Street West, commonly known as the Gary Shepherd Hall. Anything else, Mr. CO? That's good. Okay, so we have a motion. All those in favor of the motion? The motion is carried, none opposed, and Councillor Manley has declared a conflict of interest. Thank you. And ratification bylaw, Councillor Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Williams, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry adopts bylaw 41-2026, being a bylaw to adopt, confirm, and ratify matters dealt with by resolution, and that the bylaw 41-2026 be read first, second, and third time and enacted in open council this 13th day of July, 2026.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? All those in favor? Motion is carried. There are none opposed. And motion to adjourn. Councillor Deputy Mayor Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Massey. There being no further business to discuss, the meeting was adjourned at 7:41 p.m.
All those in favor? Motion is carried. There are none opposed. Once again, thank you, everyone. I hope you'll have an enjoyable rest of your week. This weekend, I know that there is the Ride and Shine event at the Atlantic Pub and Eatery on Saturday, which is a fundraiser for the hospital. Any other events that...
Highland Games are coming up.
Meet me on Main Street.
Meet Me on Main Street is next Thursday. The Legion is also this weekend having their 100th anniversary of the Legion, the 80th anniversary of this branch, and that is Friday. I think I sent out an invitation to all members of council. And
Blair and Jean.
what's that? Yeah, yes, yes, yes.
Never mind.
65th anniversary of Blair and Jean Williams. And the Glengarry Highland Games is coming up on the last weekend of the month. And so it's a pretty busy month coming up. So everyone, enjoy the rest of your week. And thank you for joining us tonight.